Hi, my name is Emily Roden, and I'm the CEO and on the founding team here at Ready Rosie. Thank you in advance for taking just a few minutes as I walk you through how Ready Rosie is transforming family engagement in schools and programs across the United States. Let's get started. At Ready Rosie, we are on a mission to redefine traditional family engagement to meet the needs and the habits of families today. In order to show you how we're doing this redefining, we first have to look at how family partnerships have been traditionally defined. For example, in No Child Left Behind, we called it parent involvement. If you look at the definition of involve, it means to include as a necessary circumstance, condition, or consequence. And I don't know about you, but in my child's education, I want to be thought of as more than just a necessary circumstance. In ESSA, we did a better job and called it family engagement or parental engagement. If you look at the definition of engage, this does a better job to occupy the attention or efforts of a person. But it's going to have to be so much more if we're truly going to see family engagement have an impact on student outcomes. So at Ready Rosie, we call it family readiness, which makes sense if you understand the definition of ready. It means completely prepared, in fit condition for immediate action, duly equipped, and we like to add the word inspired. So how do we inspire to families, equip them to have ready families, ready educators, and ready children? Well, that's what we're all about. And we'll discuss that next level of family engagement, of readiness, family readiness. But you all know that that readiness does not happen in isolation. It involves educators who are ready, and it results in children who are ready. And that is what Ready Rosie is all about. We are about readiness that leads to outcomes. So let's dive into Ready Families. What does that look like? What exactly that's exactly how we start here at Ready Rosie, is showing what it looks like. Actually showing families what it looks like to be ready and engaged. We do that through our modeled moment videos. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Now, what you just witnessed, what you just got to experience was 5 clips of our modeled moment videos, Ready Rosie modeled moment videos. And if we were together live, rather than me telling you all of the things that we try to include in those 2-minute modeled moment videos, 2 minutes each, you'd be able to share with me. But since we're remote, I'll tell you some of the things that people notice about those modeled moment videos. First of all, they notice that there's a variety of locations, a variety of families. There's a variety of languages, right, including English and Spanish, but also we have subtitles in additional languages. You might have noticed that they model human interaction and best practices around that human interaction. You might have noticed the language that those families are using and modeling. You might have noticed the gradual release of responsibility that families are modeling, that I do, then we do, then you do. And you might have noticed that while math and literacy are incorporated in, those core elements of family bonding and nurturing and social emotional healthy development are incorporated into every single one of our videos, modeling that for families that they can go and replicate in their own families. So those modeled moments are the core of what we do. If we had time, we could literally watch hundreds, and you would see hundreds of different examples of these positive parent-child interactions. Not only that, we also provide additional access to leading thinkers and researchers who are experts on child development. We give that portal, that window to each and every family. So imagine a family telling their child's teacher, I can't get my child to listen to me. And that teacher was able to share a video like this. And how do families have access to this rich content, modeled moment, and research and answer videos? Through the device that has become very ubiquitous to all of us, which is through mobile device. They can receive that via email, text messaging, or through their mobile app. And this content is not just available during the school year, but families receive special support through the summer months to decrease summer learning loss through the Ready Rosie Summer SOAR program. And this consists of strategic content that was designed to support families in combating summer learning loss. Additionally, Ready Rosie provides tools and resources like Ready K and Ready Pre-K family workshops to support families in the critical role they play in successful transitions. So that's what we mean by ready families, ready for action, ready and inspired. But we know that begins with a relationship. Families and teachers are working together toward the same goals for their children. And if we're going to have ready families, and ultimately we're going to have ready children, we have to start with ready educators. So at Ready Rosie, we provide support around how educators can make this content meaningful to support classroom instruction. We do that through a platform called Ready Rosie Share. This allows both teachers, family liaisons, parent educators to customize content for families. Educators can search by skill or topic and create a playlist of video activities that families can be doing to directly support the learning that is happening in the classroom. And it's as easy as what you see on my screen. Then, two-way communication between teachers and caregivers is built right in. A caregiver then watches the video, has the experience, does that activity with their child, and then can send a message to the teacher right below the video, never having to leave the app or the platform. This message arrives directly to the teacher, and from then on, it's just like using a messenger app. The communication is tied directly to the content that has been shared. Therefore, it's far more than just a communication about don't forget your sack lunch on Friday for our field trip. In fact, this communication, for example, so-and-so rushed home and wanted to play this game. I thought she knew all her letters, but she struggled with these. Should she know all of those? Teacher can respond back. That's the point of this game, to reinforce letters and to practice ones they need help and practice with. Parent later can reply back and say, great, we recognize all the letters now. We've played it a few times, and we've even started to use some small words. So you can see that this communication actually becomes part of a data portfolio that really tells the story of those home experiences that families are having. So the Ready Rosie Share platform equips those educators, but we also have workshops. Educators can share digital content, and they have the tools to gather families for collaborative live experiences through our family workshops. Here's an example of one. You can see there are two main components, the PowerPoints that have all of those embedded videos, and then a guide, a facilitator guide that walks through the educator what they can say and how to facilitate that discussion on each and every slide. We also have a 10-minute version of those workshops. These can be shared with families when there isn't a full hour, but where you have just 10 minutes during pickup or drop off, a family night, a PTA event. And these are structured in the exact same way, but are just 10-minute chunks, if you will, of key parenting that cover key parenting issues around routines and positive discipline strategies, and also literacy and math routines as well. So we support educators with those tools that they need at every single touch point. We talked about the workshops, we've talked about the digital guides, but also we have guides for family events that include centers where families can play those, have those activities, and strategic ways to approach parent-teacher conferences through parent-teacher conference guides and materials that really empower that parent-teacher conference to be a collaborative and meaningful meeting for teachers and educators alike. In the past, families might have come to one of these events, a family event or a parent-teacher conference, but they really would go home without necessarily tools in their tool belt. With Ready Rosie, we are providing a solution for both those live interactive experiences and then those tools for families to go and have that home learning practice after those events. So ready families, ready teachers, but we all know our ultimate goal is ready students. When schools and families collaborate, we know that students do better in school. When children experience that connection between their home experiences and their school experiences, they see how learning is valued, they see how classroom learning is connected to real life, and they see that learning is not just about academics, it's about human bonding. So how do we know? How do we know if we're really moving the needle with students, with children and their readiness? Well, at Ready Rosie, for the first time ever, is able to actually document your family engagement strategies. With Ready Rosie data tracking, you can see the impact that family engagement has directly on learning outcomes. If you can see this data screen as it scrolls, you can see this isn't just random acts of family engagement. This is acts of family engagement that are tied to specific skills, beginning reading strategies, vocabulary, etc. Likewise, administrators and classroom teachers have access to data specifically on each and every child and the experiences that child's families have had with Ready Rosie. Those, again, are tied directly to learning outcomes. So an educator can quickly see a snapshot of what they have experienced and areas that they may need additional support and additional content. So this data can actually drive not only the measurement of the impact, but also can drive further interventions around family engagement. Now, I could stand before you and tell you a million more wonderful things about Ready Rosie, but the good news is you don't have to take my word alone for it. From actual schools and districts across the United States, we're seeing creative implementations. Like, for example, in Denton, Texas, Denton ISD, the federal programs director, Chris Shade, has revolutionized a requirement of ESSA around parent-teacher conferences and compacts, and completely rethought how to make that an effective practice. So he uses Ready Rosie as part of that contract, that compact with families, so that they clearly understand their role in the education of their child. Kindergarten teacher, again in Texas, Miss Laura Alfaro, a bilingual kindergarten teacher, is incorporating Ready Rosie into her centers. So she uses those videos as a basis of centers. Here they are playing Stomp the Letter. And then those children take that center activity, their knowledge, because they know how to do it, and that then becomes their family engagement platform. So they can take the game they experienced in class and then share that with their families through the Ready Rosie app as well. Melissa Liao, another early childhood teacher in the Houston area, is actually using Ready Rosie as her homework strategy. So she sends home both the digital playlist and the printable playlist, and families are playing those games and interacting and commenting with their precise experiences. So she knows exactly what's happening, and in a more meaningful way than some of our traditional forms of homework. At Ready Rosie, we are driven by experiences like I just shared with you, and we're driven by numbers. You can see that Ready Rosie is rooted in research that's measuring that impact of these family interactions. Then we're ongoing and partner with you in looking at that data through our 24/7 data access. And finally, we are driven by just the numbers of standards, right? Those specific skills that you are teaching in the classroom and that really drive student outcomes. Research-based, data-driven, and standards-aligned. So that's why we're asking you to join the growing number of schools and programs across the United States who are redefining family engagement, and who are actually very, very quickly in their implementation seeing ready families, ready educators, and ready students. Thank you for your time today, and let us know if you have any